Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Yu-Gi-Oh video for you. Not quite Master Duel, because today I want to do something that I do a lot on Patreon, but we haven't really done yet here on the YouTube channel. I want to talk about an OCG archetype as it's getting revealed. Like I said, we do this quite a bit on the Patreon, so if you're interested in seeing some of that exclusive content, I do post daily over there as well, patreon.com/hexlex, link in the description below. But if this video gets a good amount of traction, I would definitely be open to doing this more on the YouTube channel instead of the Patreon that is looking at new archetypes as they're coming out. But the main reason I really wanted to talk about this one is because, one, I really like it, and two, I think it's really good. So this is one of the 3 archetypes in the newest deck building pack that's currently being spoiled in the OCG. Deck builder packs are ones that, like, Raziel and Malice was in the last deck builder pack. Usually at least one of the 3 archetypes from a deck builder pack ends up being a huge breakout meta deck, and I think that for this pack it's probably going to be the Yummy deck. That is the name of this archetype, Yummy. We initially were shown only one piece of art, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I loved this archetype. They were scrunkly little dudes. And then I saw that they were a synchro deck, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I was like, please let this deck be broken. Please let this deck be good. And I think my wish has been answered. We're going to go ahead and read through all of the cards one at a time, and then I'll talk about some possible uses for this archetype as far as, like, what other engines that you could play this with and how, basically why I think this deck is going to be so good. Okay. We're going to start off with Cupsy Yummy. This is going to be a level 1 light beast effect monster with 0 attack and 1600 defense. Effect is as follows. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, if you control a Link 1 or level 2 Synchro Monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Yummy card from your deck to your hand except Cupsy Yummy. Or, if it was special summoned by a Synchro Monster's effect, you can draw 1 card instead. So naturally, when it comes to main deck monsters, we're starting off with the Searcher of the archetype, and this will also reveal a lot of the common trends that the cards, particularly the main deck monsters from this archetype, will have. 1, they can be special summoned from the hand if you control Link 1 or level 2 Synchro Monster. This is true of all of the main deck monsters. All of the main deck monsters also have a second effect that has potential upside if you are special summoning this monster with a Synchro Monster's effect. So you can immediately see why I love this archetype so much. This is like Sprite 2. This is not just Sprite 2, but it's Sprite that cares about Link 1 monsters. Link 1 monsters are pretty notoriously known for being really good because they're really easy to go into a lot of the time. So we're already off to a very promising start here. Let's keep reading. We have Cookie Yummy is going to be our next card. It is a level 1 light beast effect monster with 1000 attack and 0 defense. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use a second effect of this card's name once per turn. Again, if you control Link 1 to level 2 Synchro Monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1000 attack. Or, if this card was special summoned by a Synchro Monster's effect, you can destroy that monster instead. So this card definitely gives us some amount of indication that we are going to be summoning these by Synchro Monster's effect as a quick effect, as that would be the most opportune time to either drop a monster's attack points or destroy it outright. So, nice little hint that we're getting there. The third, and for now final, of the main deck monsters is Lollipop Yummy, which is a level 1 light beast effect monster with 600 attack and 1200 defense. It states you can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use a second effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control a Link 1 or level 2 Synchro Monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if this card was special summoned by a Synchro Monster's effect, you can banish that card instead. I actually think this is definitely the weakest of the main deck monsters, as far as like the on-summon effect. Like, banishing a card in the graveyard as opposed to shuffling it back in the deck really isn't that much more of an upside. And there are quite a few decks, Malice being among them, where this is actually a drawback to banish the card instead of shuffling it. Now, the way it's worded, it says you can banish the card instead. I believe you do still have the option to shuffle the card back, even if you summon Lollipop off of a Synchro Monsters effect. But I do still think this ends up being the weakest of the main deck monsters seen here. So we got the 3 of those. Now, as mentioned, this is a Synchro archetype with level 2 Synchro Monsters. Not something we see too terribly often. This was also the first art reveal from the set. So yeah, this is what I saw, and I was like, I'm gonna love this deck. It was this image in a blurb that said, this is a Synchro deck, and I'm like, I'm immediately sold. Alright, we got Cupsy Yummy Way. It's a level 2 light beast synchro tuner effect monster with 0 attack and 2200 defense. Materials are 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. Or no, sorry, it's 1 non-tuner. Oh, that's actually very important to note. You need exactly 1 non-tuner. Now it's a level 2 synchro monster, so like that actually is not important like I just said it was. But yeah, it's interesting. You don't usually see that. But again, level 2 synchro monster, so it makes sense. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat 1 Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can add 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. Okay, so that second effect is going to be shared among all 3. There are going to be 3 Yummy Synchro Monsters. And indeed, that is our quick effect that's going to summon the main deck monsters during your opponent's turn, unless you get these bonus effects like destroying their cards, or banishing stuff from the graveyard, or drawing a card. So, there's quite a bit to talk about here. One, and the most obvious thing, another thing that all the Synchro Monsters are going to have in common. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat 1 Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner. That is so cool. That is so unbelievably cool. I love when decks let you do weird, like, material cheating stuff like that. That's also quite insane because, again, Link 1 monsters are, like, not in every single deck, but they're decently common, and they're usually really good. So, it's not a big ask at all to play Link 1 monsters. And you might have noticed as we're going through the main deck monsters here that none of them were tuners. So you might have been wondering, oh, how do we synchro in this deck? This is how. Also indicates we're going to have a Link 1 in archetype monster here. I think the on-summon effect is very, very good. It's a very good turn 1 play. And yeah, let's keep reading these Synchro Monsters here. Cookie Yummy Way is a level 2 light beast synchro tuner. Also, these Synchro Monsters are all also tuners. That's insane. We'll talk about that a little bit towards the end here, and the potential implications of that. Cookie Yummy Way, level 2 light beast synchro tuner effect monster, 1600 attack, 0 defense, materials 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monster. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat 1 Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field, change them to face-down defense position. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So we have a Synchro Monster that's good to summon on turn 1, and here's one that's good to summon on your opponent's turn. As soon as I read this, I was like, okay, so this archetype's definitely going to be using some quick Synchro shenanigans. And sure enough, we will see that here shortly. But this also opens up a lot of really good, like, disruption options for the deck, right? Like, in theory, you could synchro into this, turn 2 of your opponent's face-up monsters face down, then activate the quick effect to go into the Cookie Yummy, and that'll let you then destroy a monster on the field, like another monster your opponent might have face-up. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of good potential disruption during your opponent's turn, mostly through Cookie Yummy Way. Our third Synchro Monster is going to be Lollipop Yummy Way, which is, of course, a level 2 light beast synchro tuner effect monster, 1200 attack and defense. Materials 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat 1 Link 1, no, excuse me, One Link 1 monster you control is level 1 tuner. You can only use the first and the second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can special summon 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard, but their effects are negated. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So that's really good. That's a really good turn 1 extender option too, because you can just use the 2 Yummy monsters that you synchro to make this, bring them back, and then go into Cupsy Yummy way to have another body and also add 2 more Yummy monsters from deck to hand. Yeah, that's I don't know that you'll do that like every single time, but I do know one deck where having 2 level 2 monsters is really good. Again, I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end. Some potential like hybrid deck options that I've thought of. And this will lead us to our Link 1 monster for the archetype. Yummy Snatchy is a Link 1 Light Beast Link effect monster. 600 attack, its arrow is pointing bottom, so straight down. Material is 1 level 4 or lower Light Beast monster. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can place 1 Yummy field spell from your hand or deck face up on your field. Also, you cannot Link summon Link 3 or higher Link monsters for the rest of this turn. Second effect once per chain. During your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can pay 100 life points immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon using a Yummy monster you control. So, the 100 life points is really cute. It's because the idea is that this is like a crane game, and Yummy Snatchy is the claw. So, like, you put in 100 yen, which is like a coin, right? And then that lets you play the crane game. So here you pay 100 life points, you play the crane game, pick up one of your main deck Yummy monsters, and then Synchro summon. So that's really fun. Yeah, this card's also very, very good. Any Link 1 monster that also nets you some advantage is always going to be pretty good. See stuff like Striker Dragon, which doesn't even need to always add Boot Sector Launch to be good, but that's a really, really good bonus. Or like Sky Striker monsters, which again we'll talk about in a moment. But I do like that it has the balance of you can't Link summon Link 3 or higher Link monsters. So you can't like absolutely ridiculous Link spam once you've summoned this thing. But you can still summon Link 2s. And you know what deck I like that cares about Link 2s? I might be trying a little bit too hard to force Yummy Sprite, but again, I'll talk about that more towards the end. So what do these field spells do? Well, the first one here is Yummy's Mint Minion is a field spell that says you can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, Yummy monsters you control gain 500 attack for each Light Beast monster on the field. Second effect, if you control a Link 1 monster, you can target 1 Yummy monster in your graveyard, special summon it. 3, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment. Place them and this card on the bottom of your deck in any order. Another fantastic extender. One that also enables you to go into a lot of one-card plays with this deck. Think about it. You summon literally any of the main deck Yummy monsters, link it into Yummy Snatchy. Yummy Snatchy sets the minion field spell. You activate the minion field spell. Since you control Yummy Snatchy, you can target the Yummy monster you used to summon Snatchy, bring it back, and then that'll let you Synchro summon into your 2s. So, the lines are already apparent with this deck thanks to this field spell here. It's a very, very good extender, mostly because it's searchable. We have Yummy's Mint, a Crookie as well, which is a field spell that says you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, if you Synchro summon a Light Beast Synchro monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. 2, if a face-up monster you control leaves your field by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 Yummy monster from your deck. And 3, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your graveyard and or banishment, place them and this card on the bottom of the deck in any order. Another quite appealing field spell. This one doesn't have as much for turn 1 as far as like, extension goes, but this is pretty good to have on field during your opponent's turn. As you Synchro during your opponent's turn, this will give you an additional card pop. So you're potentially looking at, we already talked about how you could go into like turning multiple cards face down and then also popping a card off of the the Cookie Synchro Monster, but then now you could, if you have the field spell up, pop another card when you initially go for the Synchro Summon as well. Again, the disruption options are quite apparent here. Also, both field spells share this effect, where if this card's in the graveyard, you can put them back with the Yummy Monsters. So that's really cool. That gives the deck a lot of recycling. You can not only recycle your field spells, but also your Link one that searches them, and of course, your main deck monsters too. Alright, last card here. Yummy Redemption, which has amazing art. I love the art for all of these, but like, this one is great. Yummy Redemption, continuous trap card. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each light beast monster you control in your graveyard. Once per chain, if you Synchro Summon a light beast Synchro monster, you can draw one card, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Yummy monster you control, and one monster your opponent controls. Switch control of both. Switch control of both. The graveyard effect has interesting implications, but I don't quite think this card is actually good enough. Like, if this card were a continuous spell, it'd be a lot better. If you could potentially get the 2 effect, like the draw a card and then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, if you could do that during your first turn, you could potentially do that multiple times, and that would be, like I said, quite good. But yeah, so that's all of the cards revealed so far of the archetype. I think they do get one more that we haven't seen yet. If I had to guess, it'll probably be a third field spell. That would make sense with the theming of having the 3 different main and synchro monsters as well. So, I think this deck is actually just insane. I think this deck is cracked. So in Archetype, let's talk about some combo lines you could do. As I touched on before, especially thanks to the field spell, the minion field spell, you can, again, summon literally any of the Yummy monsters. It doesn't even have to be Cupsy, which would give you an extra search, by the way. Let's say you just summon like Cookie, or yeah, just one of the other ones, right? Lollipop, let's even pick the worst one. Normal summon Lollipop, you can then link it into the Link one, right? Link one places the minion field spell face down. You flip up the field spell, activate it to bring back whatever monster you linked into, in this case Lollipop. You then synchro into Lollipop Yummy Way, which then brings back, it's any 2 Yummy monsters, right? Yep, so you bring back your Yummy Snatchy, and you also bring back whatever, you know, Lollipop Yummy in this case. Then you can synchro those into Cupsy Yummy Way, which will let you add any 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. You could then special summon those Yummy monsters. That's so many bodies for one card! That's actually just cracked! Like, I talked before about Sprite, because that line gives you 2 level 2 monsters, and then you can special summon the 2 Yummy monsters you add, and then like overlay the 2 level 2s into Gigantic. Then go like Blue Jet. Of course they're 2-lock, so you don't get to do Yummy stuff anymore, but like you have the makings of full Sprite combo, and you even have 2 extra bodies to link off with if you really want to. One of the big ones I've seen people talk about quite a bit is Sky Striker. Think about this. Hornet Drones summons a level 1 token, by the way. So you can go Hornet Drones, link it into Kagari. Kagari, add back Hornet Drones, activate Hornet Drones to summon, and then synchro your Kagari and Sky Striker token into, like, the Cupsy Yummy Way. Oh, look at that. Now you can add 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand that you can now special summon, including the Searcher, which will let you add another Yummy card. So, Sky Striker, Engage, and Hornet Drones both are actually also just 1-card starters for this whole archetype. Now, not only is, like, the archetype itself quite good, but also think about, again, every deck that has a Link one and how good Link one monsters are. And then realize that, oh, this is just Sprite for Link one. It's literally just Sprite for Link ones. Of course, Fiendsmith is the first thing to come into mind, because there is a restriction, of course, on Yummy Snatchy that you can't Link summon Link 3 or higher Link monsters for the rest of the turn. But you know what plays a Link one and doesn't really care if it can't summon its Link 3 monster, because it'll just fuse anyway? That's right. Now, of course, I would definitely expect that even in Master Duel, Fiendsmith will be hit a good bit by the time we see these cards. But that is, like, of course, the very first thing I thought of. And then I thought about Sprite, of course, and then I saw people talking about using the Sky Striker stuff. So, I guess this video is just a giant PSA. Don't sleep on this deck. I think this is absurd. I think these cards are, like, absurd. Just the sheer number of bodies that you can get off of even opening one of these has established literally any of the yummy main deck monsters are their own one-card combo line. I do think this is a lot like Sprite as well, in that it ends up being as good of an engine as its own deck, maybe even better as an engine than its own deck. Maybe instead of... maybe you just splash a bit of a yummy engine into a Link 1 deck, right? Again, as long as you're playing stuff like the Sky Strikers, you could just synchro into Cupsy Yummy Way and search out a minimal number of yummy monsters that you're playing in your deck. Or I think what might be a little more likely is that you do play a dedicated yummy deck, like with 3 of each of the main deck monsters, and then you can supplement it with engines like that use Link 1s, like Fiendsmith, or like the Sky Striker engine, like we talked about earlier. But I do think there's also a lot of room for hybrid, like yummy Sprite, because again, see, this is what I love about Sprite, and this is what I love about archetypes like this. Like, I love archetypes that are built in such a way that, like, really make you want to cook, right? Because they involve, like, a very specific and yet at the same time still relatively generic kind of monster, right? I think this deck is really, really cool. I can't even tell you the last time I was so excited to try a deck. Seeing it in the OCG, like, spoiler season, not even seeing it about to come to MD, it genuinely breaks my heart that it'll probably be next year by the time I'm actually playing these cards in Master Duel. But, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to them, and hopefully you are too. Well, I guess I don't really care if you are or not, but hopefully, I guess I should more say hopefully you liked this kind of video. Yeah, like I said, we do this all the time over on Patreon, so if you want to see me talk about more OCG card releases, like I said, I've got such a huge backlog of content over there. I upload literally every day, and I've been doing the Patreon for... I actually don't know how long. I think it's been almost 2 years at this point. If not 2 years, it's been close. But, I think it actually is almost exactly... well, I don't know. It's close to 2 years. Anyway. But like I said, if this gets a good amount of attention, I am so open to doing this on the main YouTube channel as well. Either way, thank you so very much for watching. That is going to do it for this one. Why don't we go ahead and move on now to our outro? Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.